Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Sunday, December 6th. And you can see temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s. The most concentrated area of fog this morning is across southeast lower Michigan, where they have advisories in effect, and across parts of Ohio and eastern Indiana, where some of the areas are in fact under a freeze fog advisory. So anywhere here across mid-Michigan, you can see if temperatures are below freezing in quite a few spots. So if there is fog, do be careful. There could be some slick spots out there. But for the most part, we expect very mild conditions over the next 8 days, right on through next Sunday. In fact, by next Sunday, we could have record-breaking highs across much of the area. We'll talk about that in just a minute. If we look at the next slide, you can see I've got most of my lights up, just a couple more strings to put on the other side of the house. But great weather to get outside and do that, and not only over this weekend, but for much of next week. We do have a slight chance of rain as we get towards midweek, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But again, I think the best chances are, as most areas will be dry into next Sunday, when we expect a pretty good storm to head our way. You can see across the upper plains and Midwest and Great Lakes, plenty of high pressure. Barometric pressures are quite high, as high pressure is can control the area. You can see across southeast lower Michigan, some areas of dense fog being reported. And we expect, though, over the next few days, maybe some light fog in the morning. Right now, we're not expecting to be quite as dense as we've seen in the last couple of days. If we look at the weather map for this morning at 7 a.m., low pressure across Iowa, really the only weather maker across the region. That'll be sliding, however, off to the southeast, and as this front comes through, it'll come through dry across Michigan and the Great Lakes area. And again, no precipitation expected in our area. Temperatures, however, may be a couple of degrees cooler on Monday, with highs today in the mid-40s to maybe breaking 50 in areas if we see enough sunshine. If we don't see sunshine, we're going to be stuck in the 40s as of what we saw yesterday. Very heavy fog across southeast lower Michigan, and then low clouds kept temperatures about 10 degrees cooler down in Jasper and Blissfield, where they only managed to get into the mid-30s during the day, where we got into the mid to upper 40s across areas off to the northwest, where we've seen some breaks in the clouds and some sunshine. Expect that temperatures will be a little bit warmer down southeast lower Michigan. I think the fog will lift a little earlier. But again, it doesn't look like we're going to see widespread upper 40s to low 50s, mainly mid 40s to upper 40s. If we look at the weather map for tomorrow, that low pressure in Iowa will sunk into Ohio, again moving off to the east. High pressure in control. You can see where the boundary of the coldest area is well up into Canada, and that's where we expect it to stay for at least the next week. And by Tuesday morning, high pressure now moving into the Virginias will create a southwest flow to once again commence across Michigan. And I think over the next few days, once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be well into the 40s to around 50 all week long with plenty of sunshine. And for our storm for next weekend, we expect a very significant storm to move up to the west. We've been talking about that for several days now. And as that does, you can see yesterday, or the previous run of the GFS models, had very heaviest rains across western and central UP, across Wisconsin, down into Iowa, down to Oklahoma, and still decent rains here, around a ½ inch to maybe as much as 3/4 of an inch or so as you get to the western part of the state. But this morning's GFS run has that more significant rain across much of the area now, with a greater than an inch of precipitation expected across most of the MAC area. This will be from Sunday night into Monday night, as it looks right now would be the best chance for the rain to occur. And across the, this is a Canadian outlook for that same period. A little bit thinner area, heavy rain, but again, much of it across the MAC area. And so a pretty significant storm. Out ahead of that storm, we can see some very warm temperatures. This is a GFS model showing next Sunday's highs well into the upper 50s, even low 60s across the area. And it should be noted that the European model has anywhere from around Houghton Lake south in the low 60s for next Sunday. Our record high here in Breckenridge is 57 degrees for next Sunday, so we could certainly be in jeopardy of breaking that record as well. And if we look at 2 days later, however, at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, we can expect temperatures around 30 degrees or below as a colder air mass comes in. And it's after this period, around the 15th, but especially I think as we get in towards the 18th or so, up to Christmas, I think that's when we're going to be colder, with a chance that we could see some system snows here. But that's a long ways off. But it certainly looks like we're going to turn towards winter, but not for another 8 days. Until then, enjoy the great weather. Thanks for stopping by, and have a good Sunday, and 73s to all.